Hey chat, bit of a different video today. I felt like I got chicken to prepare, and I thought maybe I would just kind of yap and prepare chicken. I've got a lot on my mind these days. Thought it'd be fun to get it out, and I don't expect many people will see this, so it'll be pretty chill. But I figured, also, hold on one second chat, I'm gonna adjust this mic. I don't want to be absolutely destroying your guys' ears. Also, turn off that dishwasher. So, let's see where to start. When I was 14, I very distinctly remember standing out on my parents' porch and kind of like thinking like, I was like, military is not going to be an option for me. So like, what should I do? For those of you who don't know, which I imagine is most of you, I actually came from a military family. A lot of my family went through the military, and that was kind of like the, well, it felt like, shut up, shush, sorry chat. It felt like, to me anyway, growing up, that like military was kind of like the default path, and because of asthma and just other, health reasons, I knew the military wasn't going to be for me. So I remember being 14 years old, standing out on my parents' front porch, being like, all right, shut up. I remember very distinctly standing out on my parents' front porch and being like, all right, I can't do military. So, what else do I do? Well, I guess that means I have to go to college. And I was like, well, what do I want to do in college? Because I want to make money. I want to have money, chat. And I remember thinking like, all right, well, I like strategic board games, like Monopoly and our choir. And I was like, well, if I like Monopoly and a choir, then maybe I should go into business, right? Also, I'm going to go get some spices. And I was like, well, I like strategic thinking. I like business board games. So maybe I should just go to college for business, right? And that was a decision I made when I was 14. And at the time, I planned on going to college for like just business, like a business, what's it called? Business, like business management, something super basic, right? Also, chat, this is the seasoning we're using. Let me go make sure I'm recording this. This is the seasoning we're using, chat. But anyway, I remember kind of making that decision, not because like I had any like passion, right, in the art of business, as it were. But it was like, well, I can't do military. Hold on one second. I think I got some paper still in this. It's like, well, I can't do military. I want money. Business is probably where you make money, right? Little did I know. I should have been an engineer. I'm not smart enough for that. So, yeah, I was 14 when I made that decision to be a business major. And, I never really enjoyed business that much. And I know this is going to be a shock to a lot of people because I'm like the business guy. I find business interesting, I think finance is very fascinating. Econ is very interesting. Banking is fascinating. I can't believe we run things the way we do when it comes to banking. But if I'm being honest, I feel no passion for business outside of being somewhat academically interested in it. But I'm interested in a lot of things. Chicken. Don't worry, I'm going to get both sides. So, I decided to go into business without any real idea of what that entailed. I was just like, business, right? So, I went to a private Christian school actually called Cedarville. Shout out to Cedarville, you weren't that good. Just kidding, Cedarville was fine. I ended up going to Cedarville, and I guess long story short, I looked at also, sorry, I'm sweaty. I just came from the gym. I looked at how much I was paying to go to a private Christian school, and then I looked at how much it cost to go to a state school, and I was like, and so after 2 years at the private Christian school, I ended up going to a state school. I went to Indiana University Southeast, right? And that school was pretty good. I actually liked that school a lot. And I went there for 2.5 years because some credits didn't carry over. because schools be fussy like that. And yeah, I got my degree. I got my degree in business with a focus in finance. So let's rewind a bit. Seasoning, chat. Woo. Seasoning. Let's rewind a bit. I know I wanted to go to business. My first job was actually at this place called Young's Jersey Dairy, which was like a farm golf dairy place. It's kind of just to be there, but Young's Jersey Dairy. Love that place. Good first job. I worked there. I worked in the restaurant, and I also worked in the outside entertainment area for 4 years on and off. And then we moved to Indiana, and I ended up getting a job at my local YMCA. I worked there for 6 months, and I ended up leaving there to work on the manufacturing floor of a factory. And let me tell you, that job was brutal. That was not a fun job, but it paid pretty well. And I worked there between high school and college for a year. Unscripted videos are hard, especially when you're not very interesting. So I worked at this factory job for a couple years in between semesters at school, and during semesters I'd work part-time, and then during like spring and summer fall break I'd work full-time hours. It was a very interesting job. Someday maybe I'll tell you guys stories about it, because there's a working night shift at a factory in southern Indiana out in the country is really interesting. I think one of the one of the more interesting things that happened to me is that's where I met my first ever actual racist person. Because on the internet, I would say the majority of racist things you see are, they're coming from like a place of just trying to be edgy kid humor. And I just just remember meeting like this guy and being like, oh word, you're like old-fashioned racist. Wow, it was shocking. But that was an interesting experience. But unrelated to that, learned a lot of like good adult things about being a man at the factory and just working a hard job. It sucked, but working that factory job really showed me that I did not want to work manual labor for the rest of my life. I was like, I don't want to do this till I'm 45 or 65 or 85 or whatever it is. So I ended up getting laid off from that factory job, and so I went like 4 months unemployed, which was tough. I was living with my parents, but like I was trying to pay my own bills, and I went a long time unemployed. I ended up getting an internship at a company, which shall go unnamed, and the internship was in accounting and finance. Now my business major is in finance, but the role I went into was accounting. About the same time as I got that internship, I started dating this girl long distance, which, chicken timer's about to go off, chat. Nice. Which, by the way, chat, don't do long distance dating. Not worth it. Just date a girl in your local area. Anyway, I started dating this girl long distance, and at the same time I was doing this internship with this company, right? And I was finishing up my finance degree. So this company that I interned at really gave me a good look at what like accounting is, and it was a very informative, to kind of like learn and see what actual job accounting. Job accounting is nothing like what they teach you in school. Here's school here's the accounting you learn in school, and here's the accounting you do in real life. Not related. At least not where I worked. I did abnormal accounting though. But I was never planning on staying with that company because the girl I was dating at the time, she was like, when I graduate, I want to be able to like move around and have like a job that allows me to like be kind of like nomadic all over the country for a while. And the company where I worked at, that probably wasn't an option. So my plan was to basically work there until she graduated and then find a job that let me be more mobile. So I was never planning on staying at this accounting place for very long. Well, obviously things didn't work out with this girl, which was tough, but she's a good person. It just didn't work out, and that's just how it is. And because of that, I was like, well, I'll just stay at my accounting job then. There's really no reason to look for anything else. This pays the bills. I'll just stay here. And so I went from being an intern to a full-time employee at this place I'm working at. And honestly, being an accountant was never in the cards for me. That was never the plan. But at about the same time, I decided to commit to full-time accounting. A good friend of mine, who I shall name, his name is Ryan, a good friend of mine was like, hey, you need to start a social media account. Like, you need to do it. You need to do lifting. You need to make those silly videos. He was like really pressuring me to make this account. So I got on Instagram and I was like, what the hey, why not? And I ended up making this account and I named it The Plump Cover. And if you go back, I think my very first video I ever made has 15 likes on it or something like that. And I made, so because of the breakup, I ended up, two things happened because of this breakup, right? I ended up staying at my accounting job, which was never the plan. I ended up staying at the accounting job and I made the Plump Cover, all because of some stupid breakup. What can I say? I was a dummy. And the kind of the goal with the Plump Cover, the account was to hit 1,000 followers. That was the goal, right? And the goal for the accounting job was to work there 5 years and get my master's. So being an influencer was never anything I ever aspired to. And then I had a video blow up. So I can't remember. The first video I ever blew up was actually like a Sisyphus video. It was, I don't know if you guys remember the Sisyphus trend. This was like 2 years ago now, because this was back in 2023. And I remember that was the first video. It got like 20K views. I was like, oh. And it took me 6 months of uploading to hit 1,000 followers. And I remember when I hit 1,000 followers, it was like, yo, it was a big deal. And then it took me 6 months to hit 1,000 followers. And then it took me a month to go from 1,000 to 10,000 followers. And then it took me like 3 months to get 100,000 followers. And then after that, it like snowballed and I had like 200,000 followers. And then I gained like 300,000 followers in a week. That was insane. That was like the most insane growth I've ever experienced. And ever since then, it's just gone up and up and up. And I'm at 1.5 million followers. The growth has really slowed. I'm not getting the same views I used to. That's totally fine. I understand. People get tired of my content. But it really went from like nothing to just really blew up in like a year and a half. And I'm incredibly grateful, I guess. Because of that, I got to go to Demolition Ranch and meet people like Donut Operator and Wendigoon. Huge fans of those guys. I got to meet Scotty Fitness. I love Scotty. I got to go to the Arnold, and that was really cool. And yeah, this account blowing up was super fun, but it wasn't the plan. And having something that you started because of a breakup kind of like blow up has always been a very unique experience, I guess is the best way to put it. So here I am now. I'm still full-time accounting. I work full-time. And at the same time, I have 1.5 million followers on Instagram. I have 500,000 followers on TikTok, and I have like 225. No, I have 250,000 followers on YouTube, and then 30 something on this. So I have a lot of followers all put together. Not as much as most, but I have a lot compared to the average person, I guess. And it really leaves me with this weird feeling because it was never the plan. It was never the plan. And I'm a big guy for plans. I like my plans. I like my plans, chat. And now I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a crossroads. It's like, do I pursue this like influencer thing, or do I keep pursuing accounting? Do I keep chasing the corporate world, which was always the plan, or do I like deviate and take this other plan? You know, it's like, I'm not really sure which one's the best option for me, financially and personally. I just don't know what is wisest, and I always want to make the wisest decision. So anyway, Instagram blew up, right? And at the same time, I'm working full-time as an accountant. So let's bring it back though. So Instagram blew up, and I guess honestly, I've never felt any different. You know, you'd really think, you know, oh, you get some followers and you feel like you're, I don't know, validated or special. It doesn't feel like that. It really just, I don't know. I don't feel like an influencer. When I went to, okay, but you know, I went to the Arnold, and I remember after, I think it was day one, I was invited to go to the gym, by some people I really like, and I thought, I'll go with them. And I went to this gym, and firstly, I was the only fat guy there, which was a little embarrassing. But I kind of had like this realization, because there's all these guys and girls, and they all look great, and some of them have camera crews and mics, and they're all posing together and all this stuff, and it kind of made me realize I'm not one of them. I don't belong with them. I felt very, very out of place. And that's not their fault at all. That was just me. I didn't fit in, and that's fine. Again, I'm fat, and this is my own choice. No one made me like this. But I don't know, it was a very strange feeling. I've always felt like I'm outside of every influencing sphere. I don't feel like I belong in any niche. I don't feel like I'm in with any group. It's just kind of me doing my own thing. And so what the Arnold was for me is it felt like the peak. We did it. We made it to the Arnold. We signed shirts. We got pictures together. We met fans. Got to collab with some cool people. Got to meet some people I've been a fan of for years. And I got back from the Arnold, and I was like, I don't think that's me. You know what I mean? And it's affected my ability to make content because my motivation's gone down. Because I suddenly feel like this isn't who I am. I'm so sorry. I know this video is rambling and probably doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just kind of how I feel. But, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't one of those guys. Or gals. And, yeah, it's hard. It's been hard to lock in because now I don't know what I am. So I have two paths as I see it, chat. I pursue content creation. I start doing long form stuff. I maybe start streaming again. I lock in and I do that. And I really focus on making my account the best account it can be. Or I go get my master's in business. A thing I don't feel particularly strong about. I don't really like it. But I get my master's and I climb that corporate ladder. And to me, that's like kind of my two paths. And if I'm being frank, I mean, if you're asking me, do I want to work in an office for the rest of my life? Or do I want to make silly internet videos for as long as I can anyway? It's pretty simple. I'd rather do this. This is way more fun. Making silly internet videos sounds way more fun than pizza, mamma mia, than making a living in the office. But I just don't know what to do. So I'm really sorry. I know this is pretty rambling and probably really hard to follow. Who knows? Maybe I'll take down the video. It's 11 o'clock at night here. But I don't know. I don't think anybody was made for, all the attention that the internet provides people. I don't think I was. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Oh, sorry, chat. Focus back in. I remember what I was going to tell you guys. Here's the funny thing. I'm an accountant, but I'm kind of a bad accountant. I'm kind of bad at my job. My boss, bless his heart, has the patience of a saint because he works with me. So I'm a bad accountant, and I'm bad at lifting, and I'm not a very good friend. I'm a passable son. I like to think I'm a passable son. But I'm bad at accounting. I'm not very good at lifting, and I'm not a very good friend. And the only thing I'm moderately okay at, kind of, is making funny little 30-second internet videos. And so it's like, this is the thing I'm kind of good at, but there are people better than me over here. And I'm bad at these other things. So it's like, do I pursue the thing I'm not very good at, but is stable? Or do I pursue the thing I'm moderately okay at, but is less stable? Do you see where I'm coming from, chatters? And I don't know what the answer is. I'm praying about it. But I guess that's the history of the plump cover. So yeah, that was my rambling long video I recorded at 11:12 p.m. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go finish making my chicken now. And I'm going to throw this video together and upload it and hope that no one sees it. But that's kind of just my thoughts, as it were. Yeah. I'm tired.